When were you first diagnosed?
It was January 13th, 2005. And the interesting thing about it is the very first test that I had to diagnose the ALS was on January 13th, 2004. So it took exactly 1 year to the day for them to figure out what was wrong. Because ALS isn't a really easy disease to diagnose. Because a lot of the symptoms mimic other things. So they have to eliminate everything else. But in my case, with my grandfather, he had ALS. I think it made the process go faster, believe it or not. I mean, you would think a year, that's a long time to take to figure out what's wrong with you.
Yeah, your grandfather there. That email I got from you, it's not just your grandfather that's had it. You've got quite the family history too.
Yes, my mom and her sister and her brother. And there's a lot of other family members. I just didn't want to bog you down with everybody. So, I mean, there's probably been at least 10 to 12 family members in my family. But the interesting thing is we didn't really realize that it ran in our family till now. Because, when you have a big family of 80 plus people, so one or two have ALS, you don't think, that it's running in your family. But then when I was diagnosed, and then my mom was diagnosed, and then her sister and her brother, it's like, okay, there's something else going on with this besides just the sporadic. Because 90% of people that have ALS, they don't have the familiar form, which is what I have. So 10% of the ALS population have the family, the familiar, where it gets passed down in the family. And then in my case, my family has a gene mutation. So we're 1% of the population. So it's we're the rarest of the rare.
Do you remember how you felt when the diagnosis was confirmed?
Yeah, so I remember my doctor called me, I picked up the phone, and I went in the other room because the kids and my husband were in here. And he's like, yes, we've confirmed it's definitely ALS. And the first thing I thought about was my kids. Because here, I have a 3-year-old and a 17-month-old. And I'm excited, I'm a new mom. I wanted to give them the best childhood ever. So I'm thinking to myself, so how's this going to work? How are my kids going to grow up and look back on their life and go, we had the best childhood ever? Despite the fact they had a mom with ALS. And, one of the first things I did was call the ALS Association, because I thought, I cannot do this on my own. So they've been a great resource to me. Plus I have a wonderful husband and family and friends, and it's been amazing.
So I met your husband, Pete. He's quite the fella. He's quite the support system. Your family,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah, it would be hard to imagine going through this journey without my family and my kids and my friends. I mean, it's just amazing, the support. That's one thing, it's ALS takes a lot away from, but it's also given me some things. And one of the things is just seeing how good people are, how caring people can be, and it's just little things. I remember I would just get notes in the mail from people that just, heard about me, and they just would write a little note. That means a lot. That really, really helps. Just knowing that people are thinking about you. And just, helping with the kids and taking them places and just helping me raise my kids and giving them, the best childhood ever. That's really what's important. And that's one thing that's kind of hard with it, too, is being a mom. I want to do these things for my kids. Now they're having to do things for me. And that's kind of hard to accept. But they do it joyfully, and sometimes they kind of laugh about it. So I have trouble getting my pants up, and they're like, okay, Mom, I'll pull your pants up for you, So they kind of make it kind of fun, but, it's still hard. It's not always pretty. I mean, it gets difficult. We have those moments where, you know, and that was one thing when I first found out I had ALS. You know, this is not good. This is a terrible disease. It's devastating. It's sad. Sure. But I wasn't going to spend every day feeling like that. So I'm like, okay, Jessica. Okay, sure, this is really a bummer. But you're not going to be bummed out every day. So I said, 10%, 20% of the time, I'll be bummed out about it. But not the other 80%. So if I find myself getting kind of down, I have to remind myself, nope, you're not going to let it take that from you. Like I said, it takes a lot from you. But it's not going to take my spirit, you know, or my smile or my attitude. Like I said, there are days it's not always easy to feel that way, but you know, like I said earlier, you just take it a day at a time, because we all have just today, and just have to make the best of it.